watched you sleeping, all worn out and dreaming. You slept through the fall. I know you love this time of year. It always made you smile. Grace, I watched you breathing, all quiet and peaceful, but you were so weak. When I left that night, I somehow knew your patient heart was finally through, but I never cried. I never cried. Oh, everything falls for a reason. Gravity pulls it to earth. Oh. Oh, everyone to a season. Everything falls into place. Witness the fall of grace. Grace. None of us blamed you. Nobody shamed you when we laid you down. Everyone was there, you know, your folks, your friends, and me. But I never cried. pocket of the new moon's veil, I clung to the side of the camouflage trail. I was over the river before the sky was awake. I've kept my ear pressed to the transistor radio. This station is all I have left from my little home. I don't wanna leave, but this sorrow was all I could take. A staticky voice through the crackling speaker has followed me all the way here. The longer I go, we both will get weaker till one of us just disappears. I don't wanna go, but my duty is stronger than fear. I worked 20 years without nothing to show, so I left behind everything that I've known in the hope that my family won't need to go hungry again. They stopped me the last time I tried this migration. I'm the overflow man in this melting pot nation. The only thing here in this desert is northerly wind. And I'm not really sure where the oxygen's going, but it followed me all the way here. The line on the map didn't stop it from blowing. It's free and that one thing is clear. I don't wanna go, but my duty is stronger than fear. And the sun, it doesn't care if it's here or if it's over there. It just passes through the stratosphere until it goes away. I once watched a sparrow fly south for the winter. Her feathers were thin and her body was thinner, but we had enough there to feed her until she was well. The seasons are cycles that go back and forth. One day it's south and the next it is north. They just need a little relief till the snow starts to melt. Today she's returning to look for her nest, and she's followed me all the way here with nothing to hold but the meat on her breast and the promise of one more year. The radio man is still playing his songs, but the signal is not quite as clear. I'd rather be back the place I belong, but my family is needing me here. I don't wanna go, but my duty is stronger than fear. I don't wanna go, but my duty is stronger than fear. I saw your face painted on the wall, shapeless in space, colorless and small. I remember you the day, haunted by your sight, hiding away, curse away the light. I remember you fading out of view. You're a memory now. You're all faded and brown. You're just namelessly hung on the tip of my tongue in a silent remark. You're a memory now. You're just dust on the ground, just a whisper of steam on the crest of a dream while I walk in the dark. You're a memory now. Sheltered and safe, hidden and concealed, your timid face never was revealed, shaded from the light, tepid and so slight. Shake off the dust, wipe away the years, scrape off the rust, nothing more appears. I've been through it all, still I can't recall. You're a memory now. You're all faded and brown. You're just namelessly hung on the tip of my tongue in a silent remark. You're a memory now. You're just dust on the ground, just a whisper of steam on the crest of a dream while I walk in the dark. Oh, you're a memory now. You're all faded and brown. You're just namelessly hung on the tip of my tongue in a silent remark. You're a memory now. You're just dust on the ground, just a whisper of steam on the crest of a dream while I walk in the dark. You're a memory now.
Welcome, everyone, ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages. Welcome to the Polygon Invitational number 5. You have my time-appropriate greetings for wherever you may be. If it's deep into the night, such as one of our contestants tonight, or early in the morning, such as for one of my colleagues, or two of my colleagues, as a matter of fact, I am joined today by the one, the only, the marvelous Phoenix SD. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. How you doing today, Marsh?
I'm doing very well. I'm excited. I'm excited. Come on. It's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I want to see how this plays out because, like we said, we've got a fairly even matchup between the two. Even in past matches, they've pretty much ended exactly the same. I know that we talked about it a little bit earlier, but
6-6 in game scores and 20. Wait, let me look this up. 25-23 in favor of Neeb. So
we've got basically dead even right now. So today's going to be the baker's dozen. See, each person's got 6 overall wins. We're going to see who can get that 7th win.
Yeah, some of these games have been a little bit more important than other games. Scarlet's knocked Neeb out of the upcoming WESG didn't knocked them to the lower bracket. Scarlet qualified in first place, got a little bit more money. Neeb did eventually qualify and got third place. He's going to wherever that is in China. But equally, Neeb has kicked Scarlet out of some of the other qualifiers out there. So yeah, sometimes it's a little bit of a little tournament such as this. This is a little bit of a smaller tournament, and sometimes it's on the bigger stage. But these two have been trading blow for blow throughout this year, because they really only have met this year.
Yeah, no, this is these scores are just from this year, and obviously this is keeping in mind we're not counting ladder games, we're not counting practice games or anything like that. Obviously those are just there's too many to count. But these are just wins that actually get recorded, that matter, that have some sort of outcome. So whether or not it means they knocked somebody into a different bracket or they knocked them out of a tournament, they won something because of the win that they got, over Neeb or over Scarlet. So like we said, 6-6 overall, 23 wins for Scarlet if you count just specific games in those 12 series, and 25 wins for Neeb if you're counting the same thing. So they are extremely evenly matched, and I know both these players have a lot of respect for each other, so we're going to see some good games today, Marsh.
Yeah, they do have a lot of respect for each other. Have actually cohabitated for a little bit in their time in Korea, I believe. And for all of you living in America, you all living in the same house anyway, as far as I understand. So yeah, both share the Twitter tag on fire. So close-ish, sort of, I suppose. We could actually go on a fair bit. I've got an entire Excel sheet, you don't want to know, on the different monitor, which is notes and notes and notes on these two players. But right now, I find myself at a little bit of a disadvantage because I have this thing.
Is that supposed to be a coin? Is that real money?
That is a coin. And Neeb, who was the first to log in, called heads. And there's no heads on here. But
that's okay.
This is heads, and this is for tails. So let's see what happens there. All right.
You got one job.
What does that say? That is tails.
Tails.
That means Scarlet has the choice of first elimination. Wins. Coin toss. All right, so just for the people watching for the first time, this is the 5th Invitational we've had. So people who have watched this in the past will know how this goes. Scarlett won this coin toss. She gets to eliminate the first map. We're doing maps on the current map pool, which is it's got a hashtag. I don't know. Do you know the hashtag crazy pool or something?
Crazy map pool. I don't know. It's something like that.
Something like that. Anyway,
yeah, the map pool is definitely unique this patch.
Yep. So we've got Daybreak, Echo, Habitation Station, Overgrowth, Vanny Research Station, Newkirk Precinct, and Whirlwind. Oh shit, I have to actually type in the right one. Anyway, everybody on the clan of the class, the clan of the cast of the clanless, the clash of the clanless. Our previous tournament just found out that Scarlet won the coin toss. Elimination to her. So she gets to eliminate the first map of that. Then we have Neeb eliminates next. Then Scarlet again, etc., 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 until we end up with our first map. So it's ZVP. Which of these maps in patch 3.8, which we are on now, would you play in a Heart of the Swarm map pool, considering your Zerg?
Well, are we talking Legacy or Heart?
No, well, we are playing in Legacy, so it's 3.8.
Okay.
Tanks were just buffed, which is very relevant today. But all of our maps, I think, spawn from the Heart of the Swarm era. I think all of them. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, no, a lot of these are from there. Personally, as a Zerg player, I do prefer maps like Newkirk or even something like Habitation. And obviously Habitation is a little bit more difficult to expand in the new meta, though there is that gold base on it. But I'm not sure, because these players, I think, rather than banning maps or vetoing maps that are good or bad for their race specifically, I think they know each other so well, they're probably going to ban maps that they know the other person might have a little bit of an advantage on. So, for example, everybody knows the Scarlet Baneling landmines on Habitation Station. So we might see him just veto that out, even though obviously that was against a Terran player. You know, it's little nuances like that I think these players are going to really go for, and that's why I'm so excited for this game, is because when you have two players that know each other this well, you end up seeing some of the craziest things in games because they can't just play standard, because both players know exactly how to play against that type of move. So I'm excited for it, March, but we're going to see exactly what we get. Do we have our ban list set yet?
No, Scarlet was the first to ban Vani's research station, and we're now waiting for Neeb's counter veto, but we haven't heard anything from him yet, so I don't know if he's walked away to get a little bit of... But as to your point, 2 weeks ago, I might have been 3 weeks ago, I'm not entirely sure, during Home Story Cup, whichever one we are at now, Scarlett was actually interviewed about this very case, and she said, like, the best way to play against Neeb is to just throw crazy shit at him. Like, he's so good mechanically. If you play the meta, you're gonna have issues. So I fully expect her to use Baneling landmines. How many Banelings would you say you need in order to blow up a bunch of adepts?
A bunch of adepts? Not too many. I mean, Banelings are still pretty strong, but at the same time, I don't think there's ever too many Banelings when they're landmines. So, you know, that's always fun to watch. But at this point, I think Neeb's also very solid mechanically. He's very hard to just catch out randomly. So I think what we'll see is maybe less of a Baneling landmine situation. Obviously, that was late game. Everybody's trying to like scrounge for resources when that happened on Habitation. So with this, I think we're going to see a lot more counterattacks, a lot more pulling units in different directions and trying to force micromanagement of everything on the map. And might even see random things like Nidus Worms. I mean, like we said, she's just going to pull random things and try to make it work. So if we can get some Nidus Worms, maybe we get some Lurkers burrowed outside of a base. Just random things like that are always fun to watch, and especially when it's two high-level players like this, I'm definitely excited for it.
Okay, yeah, it's something that has been noted in the past regarding new patches, is that Nidus Worms are always a little bit more popular at the start of each patch, just because defending is just that little bit harder with every change in, you know, mechanics or unit power or whatever. So I actually fully expect to see at least one Nidus. I'd be surprised if we don't see more. Just to keep you up to date on the videoing process, the first was Vani. Scarlet took that out. Newkirk was taken out by Neeb. Whirlwind again by Scarlet. Overgrowth by Neeb. Daybreak by Scarlet again, which means we have Echo and Hibernation Station first. Neeb takes out Hibernation, so we should be getting into Echo.
Echo looks like it's going to be the first map, so that's going to be a fun one to watch. Not sure how I feel about Echo just as a map as a Zerg player, but mainly because the third base has two entrances, and, you know, personal preference on that one. With the way that Scarlet plays, I think she'll be able to do very well on this map, and obviously there's a reason she didn't ban it out. So I think we're ready to kind of get this started. We want to get these players into the match and see what we can do.
All right, we've got an admin in place who just gave me an invite, and it looks like, I'm going to guess he's not American because he's got a bronze surrounding. If you see me, by the way, neither am I American. I am going to show up with whatever the hell I have in Korea on this thing.
Well, that's okay. We're not the ones playing. We're not designed to be, or we're not supposed to be the ones with the higher ranks, so that's okay.
No, exactly. That's why we're on this side of the camera, talking to you lovely people, and that's why they're actually going to be out there. We're earning money.
Exactly.
So yeah. It looks like we've got a Protoss playing versus Coulter. That doesn't quite work out yet.
Yeah, I don't know if we want our ops playing them.
Coulter is pretty good, so yeah. Or at least he's good enough to Albs for WCS. So here's a shout out to our Albs who stepped up at our very late notice. We had some technical issues and we had to switch Albs. So yep, Let me remind these people to please retain these colors. For the servers we're playing on, so Scarlet is in Korea, and Neeb, but doesn't he live in New York? I think he may live in New York. Anyway, so we've got a little bit of we're going to be ping-ponging between Korea and US West, which we specifically checked to see what was optimal, because ping from New York to the West Coast, not that bad, but ping from Korea to the East Coast, yeah, that's not so great, especially if you want to, baneling anything. So yeah, we'll be doing a little bit on America. We'll be doing a little bit on Korea. We're starting on America right here because that's just where this organization is done. And we're going to find ourselves on Echo. Now, just for all of you guys that are liking this, go out onto Twitter or Facebook or whatever it is you young people do. Note the lack of hair. I have no fucking clue. Go out there, hashtag SC2Lives. Tell them to come in here. This is Neeb. I understand he's fairly good. And it's Scarlet. Also understand that she is fairly good. I don't know. I'm just going to put that out there.
I've heard that they might know what they're doing.
These things have been said in the past. We're going to have a best of 7 for those of you that are not aware of this. So the first person to make it to 4 wins is actually going to come away victorious. But for now, let's get into this game. All right, so welcome to Echo, the ladder edition in Legacy of the Void ladder edition. I haven't actually looked into this map closely enough to see what they have changed in between the Heart of the Swarm and the Legacy of the Void version. But for now, let me just introduce, for the ladies, gentlemen, and kids of all ages at home, introduce on the top left side of Echo ladder edition, he has been called the best foreigner. It is Neeb.
And spawning on the bottom right of Echo, we do have our Pink Zerg, also has been called the best foreigner currently playing StarCraft 2. We have Scarlet. Now, so far it looks like Neeb is just going for his standard plays, just, Nexus, Gateway, nothing crazy going on. And Scarlet's doing basically the same thing. Both players, there isn't any cheese coming out. Hatch first for Scarlet. So for this game, what I would expect to see is both players possibly just feeling each other out. Just for this very first game, even though they have played many games beforehand.
All right, let me cut in there for that third base.
You know what? He's just going straight for that third Nexus. He's saying, nah, I don't want to play standard. I just want to prove Phoenix wrong immediately. So
I believe we just mentioned how Scarlet is the one that's going to maybe do slightly crazy things, and how Neeb is this really solid standard player. So, people watching at home, we have no clue what we're talking about, but please enjoy the observation.
Well, I think what's going to happen is we're just going to, we can speculate all we want at this point, but clearly Scarlet and Neeb have their own agenda that they're going to go for, and I'd say if they hadn't played each other before, then maybe this would be a little bit different. But like we said, they've played each other so many times, and both players have an even 6 overall wins against the other. So we're probably going to see some crazy things, and it looks like we're starting out right in game 1 with one of those crazy things, which is just third Nexus right away, and it looks like we've got a Stargate on the way for Neeb as well, which has been scouted out by Scarlet. So she knows, it looks like Neeb wasn't even trying to hide it as well. He's got it right at his front door. So Scarlet does know that that's coming. She does have her third base down as well, and has she spotted that third base yet? Okay, she just spotted it with those Zerglings as it finishes. So she does know it's there, and let's just see how she reacts to that. Because she does have speed on the way, as well as 14 Zerglings. So she knows that he doesn't have to, and she is going to try to pressure Neeb with the metabolic boost timing as well, as finishing right about the same time as all the Zerglings.
You should be able to get there, and with what in total, how many Zerglings is that? That's 16 Zerglings. You can do quite a bit of damage with that, and all Neeb has got to deal with that is one pylon overcharge or photon overcharge. In fact,
correct, and he does have
can
Void
time
Ray on
that
the
out.
way, but he's got about 30 seconds on that, so we're not going to see that come out anytime soon.
There is that overcharge, and let's see if Scarlet's going to commit to killing that. No, not even going to back off and wait it out. Just kills that straight away, and is going to go not for the Nexus.
Yeah, I think the better choice there was not to go for the Nexus because she's going to lose all of her units to the Mothership Core before the Nexus goes down. Yeah. So at this point, she's preventing any any probes from being over there while her third does get saturated. So she's actually getting a small economic lead right now.
Well, without a pylon there, it is absolutely impossible for Neeb to, saturate that third base. So I don't entirely disagree with that. And with all those Zerglings, in place, you can probably deny a couple of those building pylons right there. That Void Ray is going to, make it a little bit more hard on her. And we've got double Stargate as well, by the way.
Correct. Yeah, we do have the second one coming out, but we also have the Oracle on the way, and it looks like there is a queen at every base for Scarlet right now. The natural, there's one that's almost finished. So the Oracle should be pushed out fairly easily, though there is no creep connect between the bases as of yet. So if that Oracle can get there, the queen might actually push everything out.
Okay. Well, it's... Oh dear.
Oh, there we go.
Alright, we just had a little bit of lag in-game from our observer, which possibly means that you guys on stream had a little bit of something there as well. So, I don't know if you just missed anything, but here we have that Oracle coming on in there getting, how many kills is that? 5 kills. 5 kills, 6 kills, and gets on out of there.
Yeah, it looks like Neeb was able to micro that a little bit, just to keep it alive as the three queens tried to pick it off. We do have the creep connect between the bases now, so Scarlet is going to be less vulnerable to harassment like that because the queens can get between everything so quickly. We actually have another Stargate coming up as well, so 3 Stargates. We're getting some carriers, guys. We're getting 2 carriers on the way. Right away, game 1, Scarlet versus Neeb, carriers. Let's go.
Yeah, so I've been watching people play, and yeah, carriers very popular again. Did see a little, never very popular to be honest in any of the previous patches, but I
clearly
haven't
you've
seen
never
them.
been in bronze.
I have been in bronze at some point, and a mothership. All right, just going pure golden armada is Neeb. And what is Scarlet going to do against that? Well, Hydralisks so far. Going for the...
So we've got the Hydras on the way. We have Groove Spines. She's getting ground upgrades. She's already got missile attacks level 1 for her Hydralisks. Now, at this point, let's see. She does spot both of these Stargates, but she does not know about the third one. She actually hasn't seen the Fleet Beacon either. So at this point, Scarlet just knows that there's a lot of air coming out. And at this point, I think she can pretty much guarantee that it's going to be just straight air toss.
Yeah. Pretty much. You need something underneath that, of course. Most likely a bunch of zealots with charge, because you don't want to get those Hydralisks to just go underneath there and start wheeling away. Sure, interceptors are great to dealing with them, but if you can make sure that they're forced to sort of deal with zealots or adepts, then your pure damage dealers can just take their toll.
Exactly, and right now we do see Scarlet is just trying to mass up as many Hydralisks as possible, and at this point I don't know how that's going to work because of the fact that the carriers' interceptors are just so good at taking out these Hydras. If the Hydras can get underneath the carriers, then obviously that's the spot they want to be in. But right now I don't know, with all these photon cannons and this mothership, I don't know how Scarlet's going to push this back. She's going to need, I would say, maybe some Vipers to pull back the mothership, take that out. But she might not even know that that's there yet.
And look at all the static defense as well. Oh
yeah.
Now we do have Scarlet just poking on in there and seeing all those interceptors decide to go away. And one of the ways I've always liked dealing with this, which was obviously in a patch where carriers weren't quite as strong, is to get infestors and fungal those interceptors. Now, it doesn't work against the carriers that well, but those interceptors, you get them 1-2 fungals, or a fungal and a bunch of Hydralisks, and they do melt quite quickly. Instead, we've got Scarlet poking on up there on the high ground, and nope. Oh, she's actually staying in place to deal with those interceptors, and the number of interceptors going down quite rapidly. So
yeah, this is actually very intelligent by Scarlet, because she's got the Zerglings there to tank a lot of the shots, so the Hydras can actually stay alive.
Very nice. I've seen different people do it with either Zerglings or even building Ultralisks for that. And now we are looking at Scarlet, no, not quite pushing up that ramp. She's just staying there, giving the high ground advantage to Neeb. Oh, there is first overcharge, and that is the sign for Scarlet to get on out of there.
Yeah, Scarlet's actually holding this, or doing this very well. This attack is very successful so far, and these interceptors are just getting melted. I don't know how Neeb is going to be able to push this back if these Hydras just keep flooding across the map. We've got 15 on the way for Scarlet right now.
Yeah, and it looks like just pure Hydralisk is just fine for dealing with those interceptors, making 7 at the same time, 1 out of each carrier. Now, of course, for the people that haven't followed the patch notes that closely, these are now 5 minerals rather than the 25 we saw in the previous patches.
Correct, yeah, they were much more expensive in previous patches, and this way you can actually afford to keep these carriers up. That was one of the reasons people didn't like them.
And this is one of the ways that
just getting melted now. These Hydras are going down.
Yep, this is one of the ways that Neeb can make sure to get in there. Yeah, those interceptors were getting melted quite early when there were more Hydralisks than there were carriers. But all the carriers survived, and now there are, 8 carriers, and all those interceptors at the same time with the +1 air upgrades, as a matter of fact, added as well.
Yeah, and if you look at what Scarlet's doing right now, she's got upgrades on the way, but these Hydras, there's just not enough to deal with all the carriers that are out there right now. She does have a good amount on the field. Looks like she has 25, but at this point, the carriers are just pumping out so many interceptors. We have 9 carriers on the field and a mothership. I don't know how this is going to work again. I think the cheeky play with the Zerglings was clever early on when there was a low amount of carriers, but now that there's 9 on the field, I don't think that's going to work. Everything's just going to melt.
Alright, well, we got Neeb moving on in there on that 4th base, and Scarlet needs to maintain that 4th base in order to stay in this game, but she's backed on into a corner right here. Is she going to be able to take down all those interceptors? It looks like those numbers are very gently coming on down there, and with moving on in, moving that Spore Crawler into position right there. Oh, even forcing
and the clutch recall.
Oh,
and she missed 1 carrier and 1, or Neeb missed 1 carrier and 1 Phoenix. So that's unfortunate, but it looks like they did survive. Scarlet's actually holding this extremely well. I'm very surprised that this is working considering the patch notes on the carriers. I think now that there's a bunch of Phoenixes on the field, though, if he can get some Gravitons on those, Graviton lifts on the Hydras, it might turn the tide a little bit, because right now, since the interceptors are just getting melted, and Scarlet does have an upgrade advantage, it means she probably doesn't have a numbers advantage. No. Against those interceptors, but looks like we're going to see another engagement right here, Mosh.
Yep, here we are once again, and still not a single carrier has gone down. That means that all those interceptors were just rebuilt, and now with those Phoenixes coming on in there to lift all of those up, it looks like Scarlet's army is just going to... Nope, just melts there. Oh man.
Yeah, a lot of, I think even without the Phoenixes, I think the Hydras would have lost that fight, but at the same time, those Phoenixes definitely did help keep a lot of those carriers alive.
And now we've got Neeb coming on in there on that 4th base, and there's nothing she can do to keep this alive. Yeah, she's got a couple of Hydralisks. Yeah, they're shooting at those interceptors. But at this point, yeah, it's 19 army supplies, 35 on the part of Scarlet.
GG. Yeah, and that was an interesting match. We did see the power of the carrier right there, and I do like the fact that Scarlet found a very unique way to try and get the carriers down, which was take the interceptors out, which most people think is a bad idea. And generally it can be, but with those Zerglings that were on the floor or on the ground, they were tanking a lot of the shots for the Hydras, and with that in mind, those carriers almost went down. If Neeb didn't have the high ground advantage at that exact moment, and Scarlet was able to push up that ramp, I think we would have seen a very different outcome to the game. But once you get to 9 carriers with some upgrades there, just pure Hydra, I don't think is gonna take it out.
Yeah, no, it's Yeah. Uh, Yeah, so if you keep the number of carriers low, yeah, taking down those interceptors really works. But if you're just going to kill those interceptors who are rebuilt for 5 minerals at a time, yeah, I don't. No, that's,
Yeah, but that's okay.
not
I mean, it's just game one. That's game one, guys. So game one goes to Neeb, and if that happens again, I think Scarlet probably has something else she can prepare for that. Like I said, if she was. There's always different things you can do in any situation to pull out the win. Obviously, she could have gone something super random like Neuroparasite and grab the mothership, and now nothing's cloaked, and do all that. She can run in and fungal things. She can take Vipers and pull and abduct the mothership back, immediately take it out, and now there's no recall like Neeb used once his interceptors were gone. Scarlet still had a good amount of Hydras there, but he could walk up and just immediately eliminate some of those Hydras. She could. So there's a lot of different things she could have done in that situation, and I think it was kind of a, like we said, it was a surprise. Just carriers came out of nowhere for Neeb, and Scarlet was kind of ready for it, but at the same time, it was just a little too much to handle on Echo.
All right. Well, we're setting up game number 2. As mentioned, we do have a little bit of server swappage going on. There's a little bit more of a break in between maps as we might want. Scarlet's map of choice is Daybreak. Oh, wow, that is... That is the map I very much remember from Nesty. Is that correct? Am I saying that correct? You're the expert here. I'm just the guy that says what happens on the screen.
Well, I missed your point. Sorry, I was server swapping. You said Nesty. I remember the player and the drink. Yes. But what was the question?
No, I remember Nesty being the first to hold off the Wings of Liberty version of a Soul Train on here.
I think you're correct with that. If I remember correctly, it was Nesty. Now, there are many things that were just Nesty going insane and going off. But if I remember correctly, that is true. I also remember, Lenok holding off, God, who was it? It was a Protoss player. It was at an MLG. It was, oh gosh, I can't remember who it was.
Nope.
But he held off a three base opener in Heart of the Swarm from a Protoss player. And it was nobody had ever seen a Protoss try to do that at that point in a professional game. You see it on ladder once in a while, but he went 3 bases, he held everything off, and Lenok came through with a big Mutaball and just destroyed him. But every game on Daybreak I feel like has a chance to be, just this amazing game because of the map. It's such a well-designed map, and there's watchtowers there, there's the rocks in the middle, there's the third base that's protected on one of the angles, but still has 2 paths to get to it. You can be cut off from your natural if the army can sneak in that way. So there's a lot of different nuances to that map that I really enjoy, and I think ZVP on that map between 2 players of this caliber is going to be a really interesting thing to watch. Yes,
indeed, it should be. I don't know. How about we stop with the talking and we just get into it? Let's get into Daybreak. All right. Well, as a short history has been given on this map, I would just like to say thank you, dear Blizzard, for making sure that for all the crazy changes and for all the crazy maps we have here, we don't have the combination of this crazy map and swarm hosts.
Yeah, I agree with that. And just to clarify, I don't mean to rain on anybody's parade right now, but I'm not in that game.
All right.
Didn't get an invite, didn't know we were starting. So
all right, well, let me just solo cast this right now then.
Okay, I think they started early. It's still early enough. We might be able to remake it real quick if they're okay with it. If the players don't want to, then that's fine. I can actually still see it through the stream.
All right. Well, let's just go. Let's just go with that, and we'll kick the ass of the new observer or the new admin when we get out of there, because we have a little bit of an early. Oh shit! That's why this isn't working. Early aggression by Scarlet.
Oh, good. Well, I'm pulling up the stream right now, so we should be fine with that. And let's see. It looks like there might be a large delay on the stream right now, but I can see it filters as well.
Yeah, you should
So-
be able to see it on Coulter's map. We've got
Exactly.
6
So, no, I do
early
see it. Looks
Zerglings
like,
making it into
we
the natural
have
base
Zerglings coming through.
And it looks like Neeb was entirely expecting that with a very early Zealot. All right, cool. So we both have very early aggression on the side of Scarlet, and we've got a very early Zealot on the side of Neeb. And there's more Zerglings coming on out there, and she's making sure that Neeb is having to kill these workers. Takes down that pylon. Very important. That means that there's not going to be an adept coming on down there. So these probes and that zealot that is out right now is all that Neeb's got right now. Taking down 4 probes, taking down 5 probes will really help us take down that zealot, and so she does. GG.
And the one game I don't get in is the quickest game, and I'm happy with that. Totally fine. It looks like Scarlet was sending a message with that, though, which is, you can play the macro game with me, and that's fine, but if you're going to pull out carriers, I'm just going to rush you, and we're going to stop this game immediately. Because she knew exactly what happened. He went greedy, he went with that third base, immediately just droned it, or probed it all up, and went right into carriers. And Scarlet's giving him a message right there that is not allowed. We're going to play some standard games with a little bit of flair on them, but if you want to go that route, then we could go that route.
All right, let me just make sure that you can make it into the next game.
To the next game, that'd be nice. I'd appreciate that one.
That'd be nice.
But
Also, for those of you paying attention, on the south side, it was Neeb. On the north side, it was Scarlet. We never got into that bit. Can't connect to BattleNet.
That's okay.
Really?
When there's cheese like that,
Really?
I don't think anybody really minds just jumping right into the action of the game.
All right.
Especially when there's a little bit of a hiccup there, but that's okay.
Please tell players that I'm coming as soon as I'm allowed to log into America.
Yeah, I know, right? I basically jumped over to KR and everybody was in game.
Yeah. All right.
Looks like
cool.
he's looking for Newkirk now.
Newkirk. All right, we've got a few shout-outs that we do want to make. We've got a couple of big spenders by the name of Bradford and Oddfellow and Smith D658 on our Matcherino. If you would like to make sure that these people get their just desserts for playing for us, we do have a crowdfunding set up. It's Matcherino. This is right now somebody by the name of Disrespect will probably be linking this in the chat for you to click on. If you want to put your own money in, that's fine. If you don't, put in the code Power Overwhelming, and Matcherino will donate $1 on your behalf, so you don't have to even put in your own money, but it does create more of a prize pool for these players. So Neeb can do whatever it does with it, and Scarlet can go out and get some proper Korean barbecue, because she is still in that side of the world. And yes, Phoenix is making sure that they don't
forget me this time.
Yep.
I feel so lonely out here on my own, all the way out here in San Diego.
Something that Coulter's been showing you very well, and I have unfortunately been amiss in bringing it up, is the star sense score between these two players. So you have a Ligulac, and that's very good, but you also have, but that's based on historical performances. If you would like to bet on this, well, by now we're too late, I'm sorry. But StarSense is the app out there, and they can, you can bet on the upcoming matches and say, like, I think, Scarlet's going to win. No, Scarlet's definitely not going to win. Neeb's going to win. And the last I checked, and I'll check again when we go in-game, this was a neck and neck. We had 50%, 51, 49, something like that going on in there. And the game price.
Yeah, it's been very close the entire time. I think a lot of players understand that a lot of people understand that these two players have such a similar skill that, and they've played so often that, you can't necessarily call it, one way or the other early like this. And I think that the game that we just saw was evident of that, is they both have the ability to just throw the other person off so easily that calling it early on is next to impossible, because they've played so much, because they know exactly how the other person plays. You see carriers immediately for Neeb, and then Scarlet just turns around and all-ins them within the first 2 minutes of the game. And, for things like that, that makes it exciting for me to watch, because I don't know what's going to happen. I know the fans are out there watching this thinking that they have no idea what's going to happen. So Neeb versus Scarlet, game 3 looks like everybody's ready. So we're gonna start this thing up here, Marsh.
Yeah, so in that respect, 50-50 when it comes to chances is very true. Also, I did mention the Illegalag doesn't quite line up with that. They say 53-47. So no matter how you look at it, this is a very close match. Now, before we get into the next game, I referred you to Matcherino. I would also like to mention that if you need one of these, or if you're looking at my co-caster, the things he has on his head, they are available in white and black, but not these. These are version 2. They've been upgraded to 200. If you go to the Matcherino page, bottom right, you can actually get one of these for a lot cheaper than what we paid for it. But for now, Newkirk Precinct, here we come. All right. Yeah, so you mentioned that you would rather play on this. No, that's what happens if you get new map pools. You wanted to play on a different map pool when it came to the Zerg. Well, let's not get into that quite yet. Right now, our observer is pointing out all the things being done by the player on the bottom left side of Newkirk Precinct. He has been called a literal god by members of the community such as Tasteless, Roddy, and even his opponent Scarlet. It's Neeb.
And on the bottom right of Newkirk Precinct, spawning as the pink Zerg, rather, we have our literal best foreign player with no exceptions, not including Neeb, of course, because, you know, they're both the best foreign player right now. Hopefully you guys understood that joke a little bit earlier. We do have Scarlet.
All right, and we don't have, it's 1 minute 30 into this, and we are not seeing a third base. I think that's
yeah, so it's a little different from the previous games where, you know, both players immediately tried to take that third. Scarlet's a little bit later than Neeb, but at this point I think we might see, I hope we see a little bit more standard of an opening this time. I did enjoy the opening in game 1. Obviously, game 2 was a little quick, but you know, you got to throw one of those games in there once in a while just to throw your opponent off. It looks like Scarlet is going for that standard opening as well. She's getting her 2 queens, her metabolic boost, and Neeb is doing basically the same thing. Standard, getting the adept, warp gate. He's got his base, or his natural building up on the way here. So I don't know that we're going to see anything super cheesy or anything super out of the box very early on. Now, that being said, we might see anything like that in the mid game. Scarlet does scout out the front door of Neeb, and we do have, looks like, 6 lings on the way and 6 already on the field. So we're gonna have a total of 12 Zerglings coming across the map right now.
All right, and I'll be interested to see how Scarlet plays this. She sends a couple of them around, and she may send a couple to intercept that adept, thereby telling her opponent, yes, I see you coming, and yes, I'm ready for you. Please look at me right here while I try and massacre your mineral line. Oh, Neeb scouts that third being taken, and he's going to go on up there, sees the defending lings, and no, actually shades in there, which is a little bit brave with that many Zerglings on your tail, as well as a queen. But it does.
Yeah, it looks like that adept probably will shade out though.
Yep. There's out there.
Oh, but the queen was there to beat it.
Nope. Our apologies. He does not get out. In the meantime,
Wow, that quickly.
Ow.
He knew he had nothing to defend, and Scarlet just ran right in the front door. That was it.
Yep. That was.
Wow, I am very surprised that just happened.
Unit count. 33
it
probes,
like
1
didn't
mothership
have enough for
core.
an overcharge either.
Yep. GG.
Well, there's our game 3, boys and girls. That is
Bloody hell, that was quick.
One of the quicker games. That was probably quicker than the last one we just watched.
And it wasn't even intended that way.
Yeah, I think that was intended to be more of a harassment, and maybe Neeb was concerned with keeping the adept alive and built the gateway a little bit too late, and those Zerglings got right in, and he knew he wasn't able to hold it. It was going to be too much of a deficit once he saw Scarlet's third base go down as well. So I think at that point, you know, he knew exactly what he messed up on, and he knew to tap out right then.
Yeah,
and that's perfectly respectable. Knowing when to say, all right, let's move on to the next one is just as important as knowing when to say, you know what, I can pull this out and I can win. So
No, exactly. For now, we're going to go into a very short advertisement commercial while we swap servers. So we will see you back on Korea. Stay tuned.
If the only tool you have is a hammer, then every problem looks like a nail. It's time to start using the right tool for the job. Introducing SC2ReplayStats.com. They have the best replay parser out there with thousands of uploads whose build orders and timings are stored to help you find out how you stack up against others in your division. Or if you're a data nerd like me, analyze your favorite pros games so you can be awesome too. After all, how do you think Crash Course got started? My favorite feature is hands down the Training Center. It's got all the most important statistics like when to get your third, how many drones to make, and even how badly you're missing injects. They explain key focus points individualized to your matches and playstyle that will help you get to that next level. For only $5 a month, SC2 Replay Stats is more than worth it. Go thank them for supporting esports by getting better today.
I'm Shaft, the owner of Polygon Gaming, and I believe in a tip-based economy, where the hardest working people get rewarded for their effort. I've held a number of jobs, and while there's nothing quite like that adrenaline rush of being a line cook, working the trenches as a waiter or delivery driver is where you really get rewards for customer interaction. And as long as everybody works hard, there's enough to go around for everyone. This applies to StarCraft as well as kitchens, and that's why Matcherino is the future of esports. Matcherino allows organizers to crowdsource their events, luring players with the temptation of luscious prize pools guaranteed by the most dedicated viewers. Do you think one organization does a really good job, or is your favorite player squaring off in the match of the century? It doesn't matter. Now you can support it either way. Matcherino makes it easy to distribute prize pools after an event is over, with a flexible donation system that opens many doors for creative organizers. With a flexible system unrivaled by competitors, Matcherino is just what this scene needed. Some say StarCraft 2 is a dead game, but many others, just like you, every day are putting their money where their mouth is, and Matcherino is the platform they're using to do it. Matcherino is single-handedly breathing life back into this game. Help esports grow because StarCraft lives.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to this game. We are trying to ditch Phoenix once again. Wait.
Oh, I made it.
You made it? All right, good. Schizo is still playing against Neeb, so that's probably not a good thing. Anyway, welcome back. I hope you had many nice things to say about that video of Chibi Shaft and Matcherino. So Matcherino, once again, a very glad sponsor. If you'd like to go over to their site, which is being linked in chat right now, you can donate $1 at a no cost, or you can go and actually put money in there like I did. I am currently the number 2 spender, tied for second place. So please put me to shame, put some money in there for both of these players. Neeb in New York, very expensive city. Scarlet in Seoul, which is not nearly as expensive a city. I've been there, lived there for 2 years. Quite liked it, actually. Didn't like the food, though. I don't like spicy food. How about you? You live close to Mexican border. That must be spicy-ish.
Oh yeah, no, there's spicy food down here. We definitely have some hot food. I've had food that's way too hot for me. But at the same time, I do like some spice in my food. I just, I don't want my mouth to be on fire.
How would you like your food to wriggle? Because I've been paying attention to Twitter recently, and I don't know if it was Scarlet or whether it was Zombie Grub who's over there right now, but they were showing not live, but moving tentacles being eaten. And can I just say, no, thank you?
No, I'm good.
That's fine. As a matter of fact, when I was there 5 years ago, there was a lady who did that, who felt an odd tingling sensation of her tongue, and one of the things that the octopus she was trying to swallow live, not the chopped wriggly bits, in a sort of reflex, tried to inseminate her tongue, which is just fantastic.
No,
and
no,
I wish
Thanks for telling me that.
All the best in Korea. Really, if you're watching this at home,
I needed to know that information. I couldn't have gone my entire life without knowing that specific fact about, I'm going to try to forget it. Just, like everything I learned in middle school and high school. Let's just go right out the other ear. You don't need it.
All
Just
right,
college is the only important.
let's go into Vanu Research Station instead. All right, so Vani Research Station, and I think this is a good time to talk a bit about the man over here who is not in a country that's used to serving up live squid or wriggling squid, although to be perfectly honest, I have been to Phoenix, Arizona, and you find some weird stuff in there. Anyway, it is the one, the only foreigner who's ever won a Premier Korean StarCraft tournament. It's Ting's Neeb.
And spawning on the north side of Vani, we have our favorite, our Zerg player. Everyone loves a good Zerg player. Everyone loves DRG. Everyone loves Leonok. Everybody loves Scarlet.
Well, everybody loves a good Zerg player such as DRG, and the best way to take him down is to play Protoss, I believe, which is what Scarlet has done in the past. But let's get back. Let's just get back to Neeb real quick, as we have a fairly standard opening. He's the first guy to win at StarCraft 2. He's the first guy since 2001 to win a StarCraft tournament in Korea. So back when I think that was Brood War, although to be perfectly honest, I'd have to check. Well before my time. Not even I am that old. That is an amazing accomplishment, and really, really well deserved to this young man.
And just so you know, when you mentioned that it was a standard opening for both players, I'd have to go ahead and disagree with you there. It looks like Neeb's going for the same opening he did before, and Scarlett's actually doing basically a little bit earlier opening than she did in Game 1. She's getting that third base fairly quickly. I think she dropped it right about as the third base for Neeb was finishing. In Game 1. Now she's got it on the way, and she's actually got it sooner than he does. No. So we might see something similar on this map from Neeb. It looks like we do have Psycore almost finished up, so I think we're going to see a tech path choice for Neeb fairly soon. And Scarlet looks like she's just going to be droning right now. She's got a few queens coming out, and there's no lings to speak of on the map, though we do have Metabolic Boost on the way. And there it is, the Stargate from Neeb. So we are going to see something similar. And again, he has no intention of hiding this from Scarlet. He knows that that's too close to the front door to be considered hidden. And I don't think he truly cares that she can see it at this point, because maybe I think Neeb probably feels very comfortable with how Game 1 went. And with the amount of carriers he got near the end of the game when he was able to end Scarlet, it wasn't a death ball of carriers for the majority of the game. Obviously, he was just adding 1, 2 at a time. Even though he had 3 Stargates, he's still only on 3 bases, and you can't really produce 3 carriers per cycle. It's basically, you have 2 building, and then once you have enough money, you start the third one. So it's not 3 popping out every single time. And at this point, I think he's going to be able to try and do something similar. Now, what I've seen a lot of players do is do link drops over the back base here into that pocket expansion. But it looks like she's not actually going for that route. We don't have any upgrades for the Overlords yet, and she's just droning up this third base. Looks like both bases are almost fully saturated now, except for Vespene Geysers, and we don't necessarily have a tech path that's being chosen yet. She's getting that lair now as well, which might signify that she's going to go for Hydras and skip approach all that completely. But we might be able to see Scarlet actually harass a little bit this time with these Zerglings coming across the map, Marsh.
And then when it comes to harassment, it is weird that she doesn't go that route, as you mentioned, of droppage in that pocket natural base. That's something that wasn't possible when this base was first envisioned. It was just not possible. Oh, and there should be an overcharge that shoos that away. Is she going to get in the main? No. There's a good guard zealot there, not a worry about it. And it looks like that stratagem is not beyond the mind of Neeb either, who did put that Void Ray in there, making sure that, there's another overcharge.
Oh, this is very interesting here, Marsh. We have Tech Path Deviation for Scarlet this game. She's getting melee attack upgrades as well as Aspire. So at this point, I'm not sure what we're going to see out of Scarlet, but if she wants to counter, it looks like she's got something directly in mind to counter these carriers, because it looks like there's already 1 building. We've got a second Stargate on the way, and I mean, this is going to have to finish fairly quickly, because let's see, we've got 40 seconds before the Spire is even finished, and we've already got a carrier on the way.
That was scouted by Neeb, by the way, with that harassing Oracle. Very nice tool for scouting. Yes, you can send in an observer, but why not get something that sees just as much and kills drones this quickly as well? As we get another 3.
Looks like that Oracle's already got, let's see, how many kills here? 6 kills. So it's a very solid amount of kills to have on an Oracle. It's very respectable. There's no miss micro on it. He does have it at a very low. I think one more shot from that Queen would have killed it, but at the same time, he's just going to rebuild that shield and possibly go back in, try to pick off a few more.
That is that mothership again. Wow. Yeah, I'm interested what Scarlet thinks of doing with that, because all these small, fast-shooting things against the Corruptors, the big, slow-moving ones, yeah, they do extra damage against Massive. Please tell me that's still the case, because with all these changes in the patch, this is one of those things that might very well have come by and I would have missed it. But yeah, getting the Carapace upgrade as to counter those very fast, quickly, but very... I don't want to call it lightly. They attack quickly, but they don't do a lot of damage per shot, and armor really is a way to go against that.
Yeah, and generally when you're going against a large army in the air as a Zerg player, you want to get that upgrade for armor first, even as a... if you're going mutas versus, Marines and things like that. The attack upgrade's great, but the armor upgrade is definitely the way to go if you're not going to be massing the mutas. Because you just want them to survive and not be able to just get melted immediately when they get in there. And I think the same idea is applying to these Corruptors as Scarlet gets more and more of them. Looks like she's got 8 on the way right now, and she's already got 12 on the field. So we're going to see 20 Corruptors with level 1 armor. But we also have level 2 ground attacks on the way. So we might be seeing maybe some Broodlords coming out here. Maybe she's just going to go with Zerglings and try to mass those up, keep the carriers at bay with the Corruptors, and harass every other base with this Zerg.
Oh dear, there goes your detection right there. So yeah, you found the army and now you can't shoot them. So that's hardly the best way to go there, and Scarlet gets on out of there. With Flyer Carapace finishing up just now, I can't disagree with that decision at all. Did
Absolutely.
look in with those Zerglings, by the way, but there's a lot of cannons out there waiting for her. So yeah.
Correct, and I am surprised that we haven't seen Neeb or Scarlet go for one of these gold bases quite yet. We do see a lot of map control from Scarlet right now with these Zerglings and these Corruptors, so I wouldn't be surprised if she ran over there and tried to take.
We have once again the Corruptors being found by the Golden Armada, and Scarlet's going to go for that Mothership Core. Does get it, and now does she go for the Void Ray? Does she go for the carriers? She goes for the carriers. Yep. But there's enough Void Rays left there to shoo her off, but what really killed her in that first game was getting overrun in the end by a death ball of carriers, and this is a good way to put it there. And
absolutely, we do have a counterattack at the bottom of the screen here, Marsh, with these Zerglings.
The charge is going to shoot that slightly away. Still, that got 1 pro. That was probably not the best best attack right there. That looks very impressive, though.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, and I'm very surprised that these Corruptors are able to survive long enough to take out 2 carriers and a Mothership while running through that entire army. Generally, you'll see the Mothership just kind of kite back, or the carriers move, and the Interceptors will fight. But Neeb just kind of let that stuff happen, thinking that the Void Rays were going to be able to take everything out. And unfortunately for him, she lived with about 4 or 5 Corruptors there. So at this point, it looks like she's just going to keep massing them up, and now she's actually going for that the air attacks for those Corruptors as well.
Oh, and she's going to pee on a Nexus, but she decides, no, you know what, that's not going to turn out too well. And a bunch of Void Rays make her decide to go the other way, and she's once again in that third mineral line. Not a mineral line, she's taking down the defenses, taking down those cannons. Minerals versus minerals, and if she can clean that up, that means she does have the unrestricted access. That unfortunately, just at this time, the Armada does come back. It does have a couple of untended circles in place, so a mineral line, and takes out 5 probes, which is probably not quite what she was hoping for, to be honest. But if she's lucky and Neeb doesn't build all of that right back, then leaves her opportunity to come on back.
Well, and you also keep in mind that right now Scarlet is just expanding and expanding. She's on 5 bases. She's got all the minerals she needs. She can take as many gases as she needs right now, and she's still spending all that money. So trading with Neeb, these little trades with these corruptors, she's still getting more and more. And now she's pulling out the Vipers. She's getting Air Carapace level 2. So, and now she's got 28 more Lings on the way. So I think she's completely comfortable just doing these small trades for massive units, the carriers and the base, and see what she can get done with.
Nope, these Zerglings get intercepted.
Yeah, those get pushed away right away. But like I said, she's just going to keep poking in and trying to see whatever she can pick off because she has a massive advantage right now. And there it is. Scarlet takes the gold base on the top right of the screen, right around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And now I think we're gonna see a lot more harassment from Neeb if he scouts that out, because he's gonna know that his advantage with the just the amount of army value that he has is gonna slowly trickle away because of the fact she's taking all these bases across the map.
And one of the things I like about the Vipers as well, he did kill that, or she did kill that Mothership core in the start, but it really cost her a lot. But with these Vipers, and we've got another bunch of Zerglings coming on down there and absolutely wrecking the cannons. But in the meantime, here are overcharged Void Rays, and a wait, that is it.
And Parasitic Bomb.
Absolutely, as well as Parasitic Bomb. Carriers don't stack up, but they certainly do, and that was a lot of damage. None of these have actually gone down, and Scarlet is actually forced backwards. She's trying to deal with the Phoenixes. That's maybe not what she's focusing on right now, but she doesn't have the corruption numbers to deal with this.
Yeah, and her overlords right now are just getting destroyed. She's actually supply blocked at 112. So at this point, I don't know what Scarlet can do. Unfortunately, there's no way these corruptors are taking out this carrier army. I think.
We've only got the 11 corruptors right now. In the meantime, she's killing this base, making sure that there's no real income. He still does have 3 bases, of course, but they're going to be mined out. But in the meantime, she's losing every bit as much, and those Zerglings she just recalled. That's...
All right, so we see Neeb take game number, 4. So at this point, this is a great series, March. I mean, we've seen a lot of different things come out for the first, game 2 and 3, but game 1 and 4 now, these have been very similar, but we saw 2 completely different strategies go through, and I'm very impressed with both players, and this is exactly what I expected to see in such a high-level game.
Yeah. Excuse me as I cough into the microphone. It was... Seriously, why am I not allowed into America? God damn it.
Well, you see, there's this new president-elect, and I don't know what to tell you, man, but you kind of just walked into that, so...
Yeah. God damn it. Of course, sounds like the kind of guy. He let my sister in, sure enough. Anyway, let me log right in there and lose my train of thought. It's the 2 big macro games going the way of Neeb, and the 2 short games going the way of Scarlet. Now, of course, it doesn't matter how you win as long as you win. That's 2-2. Can I just say that for the very first time in a Polygon Invitational, the losing, and I don't care which one of these 2 loses, the losing player will have a map score greater than 1.
Yeah, so if you guys did not know this already, in the last 4 Polygon Invitationals that have happened, at every point when the game's over, everything was over, the series was 4-1 or 1-4. It didn't matter who was playing. One person only won 1 game. So this is, a record-breaking series now, not only because it's Scarlet versus Neeb, and we've gone back and forth a couple times in these games, but both players have more than 1 win. So this is amazing, and I'm excited to see what... I want to see who wins. I want to see how they win. I want to know if Neeb is just going to go crazy and stop building carriers and just immediately go for some sort of Immortal Sentry all-in, or if Scarlet's going to say, you know what, I'm just going to cheese you every single game because clearly that works, and I'm tired of carriers.
I want to see Neeb Cannon Rush. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but I want to see...
this is Neeb. This isn't Galsy. This is Neeb.
That's fair. All right, as we're waiting for our players to come into the lobby, which is for Habitation Station, and I haven't been paying close enough attention to see if that's the right map. I would like to remind everyone that we have some very talented people who owe us major favors. No, actually, we just asked him nicely. And we've got a guy called Daybreak. He's a Grand Master Protoss, and if you win, he will come and coach you for an hour. Now, obviously, this is more valuable to you if you are a Protoss, but everybody plays a Protoss as well. Anyway, going back to Matcherino, this really is a very useful site. You can buy raffle tickets. You got points for watching this stream because this is linked to your Matcherino. You can spend 25 points for a raffle ticket, and due to the fact that we are all fairly regular viewers of this channel, we have a lot more points than you do, so you're going to have to spend big in order to beat us, because I suck at Protoss and I would really like to get better. Anyway, if you'd like to get coached by Deadzerg, that is a GM. You can actually find him on twitch.tv/DeadzergTV or something. And you're going to have to buy some raffles, and in a couple of games, we will actually draw that raffle. So go on to Matcherino. It's being linked right now, and get some of those things. If, on the other hand, you say, like, yeah, I don't need, coaching. I need one of these. That's right. I actually do own all the products we are, shilling today. This is a Death Adder. Mine is a Chroma. I do believe you can actually buy that one, unlike my headphones, which are 1 season out of date. You can actually buy my actual mouse at a ludicrously low price of $26, which is less than half than what I paid for it, and I feel really silly now. But that's enough shilling. Let's get into it. All right, that was a little bit loud. Maybe you have something to say.
Yeah, rip headphone users. Sorry about that one. But that's okay.
All right, we've got a Habitation Station, which is, this is the map you were saying you would quite like to play as a Zerg versus a Protoss player.
Correct.
So we do have on this map, we have the gold mineral lines, minerals thingies. But for now, let's introduce one of these players who will most definitely not be taking advantage of this. It's one base Scarlet.
It's one bit. I like how you said it as a question.
Yes.
All right, and on the other side of the map, spawning in the northeast corner, we do have our blue Protoss player who just came back and won game number 4 after dropping 2 and 3. It is Neeb.
All right, so yeah, let's get on straight into this, because we have a one base Scarlet, and we have Neeb that scouted everything. And is that a complete wall off? No, it isn't, but he should have that zealot out in time to block that off.
Yeah,
so,
I think he can get a pile on there too if he needs to.
Yeah, well, there's nothing to build that there. Oh, just in time. And of course, Scarlets are like, well, if you don't do that, I can just nibble away at this wall. And now we're going to see who's the better at microing that, pulling those wounded Zerglings away, and there comes that pylon. You were just, wait, what?
Oh, no.
That's not a wall off. That's not a wall off, Neeb. Neeb, what are you doing? All right, hasn't tapped out quite yet as much as this time. Oh, walls that off.
No,
Keep it and another Zealot just came in, puts that into the wall, and now it's just 4 Zerglings in that natural base versus a whole bunch of probes. Now, it's hard to kill probes with this few Zerglings, but it does cost him a great deal of mining time. And if you don't get this for 7 minutes to go down, all right, cool.
There we go.
Cool.
And keep in mind, we do have a probe on the other side of the map for Neeb, so he does see that Scarlet expanded through that, and that lets him know that the all-in, although it was on the way, with all of the Zerglings just rushing across the map, at this point, Scarlet does have to consider macroing now, so she is building a bunch of drones and going to go try and get into a standard game. She does have an economic advantage having more drones, as well as having that natural that is basically finished at this point. And Neeb's just started. So at that point, these Zerglings that are on the other side of the map scouting out Neeb, he's got his mothership core out and he's just poking them down. So they can't do much other than scout. We've got, let's see, an Adept and 2 Zealots at the front door. So at this point, yeah, we are going to see the game kind of taper off and turn more into a standard game from this point. But at the same time, both players have had a little bit of damage done to them. So Scarlet's was self-inflicted by building Zerglings rather than drones during that whole time, and obviously she took out a few probes on the side of Neeb.
Let's look at that gold base, by the way, because Scarlet's going to try and... no, that's going to get scouted, but she is going to get on in there.
No, she goes for it.
Yep, Neeb has
Slow
nothing
Overlord,
to
it's a
shoot
race.
at this. Yep.
Slow Zealots and the Slow Overlord. This is great. This is like racing in reverse. Like, you can only go like 20.
Yeah, he's only now at the natural base, though. So yeah, this mothership core is going to be able to shoot at them. But
this drop is completely cleaned up. The mothership core being there is just going to completely shut it down. But we do have Scarlet on the other side of the map. Did spot out a proxy pilot from Neeb, so it looks like that does get taken out. So that's actually pretty good, because having that on the other side of the map for Neeb is not only good as far as scouting goes, because he can just warp something in and send it to a random base that he's not sure if there's something at. But he can also use it as a forward base, and if he was going to do an attack from that direction, it's a great spot to start it off at.
Would you happen to know, as a long-term watcher of Scarlet, what her position is on animal rights with regards to critters? Because she just brutally crushed that one.
I don't know, but maybe it was just in the way and it needed to move. And, at that point, I'm totally fine with it. But, that's just me.
The end justifying the means right there. No, it looks at least that Neeb is not going to go and into his Stargate plays, going for that Twilight Council. Neeb, of course, somewhat of a name for himself, playing Adepts, and he is building more of those. So we'll see if he goes into some of that play that he is very well known for.
Yeah, we do just keep in mind, although we have the action in the middle of the map, that Overlord at the north side does have Zerglings in it, and it just got pushed away by the Stalker that Neeb had set up at the north side of his base. So Scarlet was going for a small counterattack, but it stopped.
Alright, we've got Scarlet intercepting that little push, but that does get cleaned up. Does cost Neeb a sentry.
And that's a very big deal, because that sentry was probably there to block off the ramp so the Zerglings couldn't get down here. Now, we do have 2 Spine Crawlers, so I don't know that he's going to do too much damage. He might stop this third, though.
Yes, Scarlet doesn't really have too much to deal with it. Yeah, she's got a whole bunch of Zerglings, but Zerglings aren't that great against Adept. Now, Queens, on the other hand, Queens are very good, and May trying to push that back is, no, she's going to let that finish, and now she's going to have to commit. All those Zerglings coming on in there.
Queens are going to try to pick off this mothership core so we can't recall.
Oh, no, there's that recall, just leaving 2 very poor Zealots to die.
Alright, and I want to point out, Scarlet did give up on that drop over here on the north side, but it looks like she was thinking about it the whole time, and Neeb was actually aware enough to put another Stalker a little bit lower than the first Stalker, so that it wasn't able to get countered by the Ling drop, because as soon as those Lings hit the ground, that Stalker's dead. But if the Overlord stands there long enough trying to get in, those Stalkers will kill it. So at this point, it was very, very aware of what this map's capabilities are, is Neeb. And what Scarlet likes to do as soon as she sees somebody move out, she's very good at counterattacking and flanking with groups of Lings. And because of the upgrades to the Overlord, that one is, you kind of put that in a higher tier of danger than any other Overlord on the map, because obviously it can carry everything.
And here comes that signature unit of Neeb. Those are 20.
Oh my god! He canceled the Shade and she GG'd out.
What? I mean, don't get me wrong, she was in a tricky position, but I mean, she wasn't dead.
So, in case I don't know. Oh my god. So, Scarlet saw the massive amount of Adepts, and the Shades were about to finish on the ramp, but Neeb didn't have any scouting information of the main base, so he didn't know what was up there. And he was trying to scout, but he didn't want to actually commit to those Shades, so he immediately cancels it right before it finishes, and that's the exact moment that Scarlet GG'd out.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm watching Idra.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Okay. Well.
All right. Cool.
3-2.
Yep. 3-2. All right. We've got another commercial for you, real quick, as we once again swatch servers. We'll try and limit it to 1 this time. Matcherino, really nice people coming your way.
If the only tool you have is a hammer, then every problem looks like a nail. It's time to start using the right tool for the job. Introducing SC2ReplayStats.com. They have the best replay parser out there with thousands of uploads whose build orders and timings are stored to help you find out how you stack up against others in your division. Or if you're a data nerd like me, analyze your favorite pros games so you can be awesome too. After all, how do you think Crash Course got started? My favorite feature is hands down the Training Center. It's got all the most important statistics like when to get your third, how many drones to make, and even how badly you're missing injects. They explain key focus points individualized to your matches and playstyle that will help you get to that next level. For only $5 a month, SC2 Replay Stats is more than worth it. Go thank them for supporting esports by getting better today.
I'm Shaft, the owner of Polygon Gaming, and I believe in a tip-based economy, where the hardest working people get rewarded for their effort. I've held a number of jobs, and while there's nothing quite like that adrenaline rush of being a line cook, working the trenches as a waiter or delivery driver is where you really get rewards for customer interaction. And as long as everybody works hard, there's enough to go around for everyone. This applies to StarCraft as well as kitchens, and that's why Matcherino is the future of esports. Matcherino allows organizers to crowdsource their events, luring players with the temptation of luscious prize pools guaranteed by the most dedicated viewers. Do you think one organization does a really good job, or is your favorite player squaring off in the match of the century? It doesn't matter. Now you can support it either way. Matcherino makes it easy to distribute prize pools after an event is over, with a flexible donation system that opens many doors for creative organizers. With a flexible system unrivaled by competitors, Matcherino is just what this scene needed. Some say StarCraft 2 is a dead game, but many others, just like you, every day are putting their money where their mouth is, and Matcherino is the platform they're using to do it. Matcherino is single-handedly breathing life back into this game. Help esports grow because StarCraft lives.
Welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages, and whatever else is out there. If you're a very spoiled cat and your owner left on your stream for you while he went off on his Saturday business, then I guess you're in luck and you get to watch this amazing game play out. It is currently 3-2 for Neeb, with that rather abrupt ending there. Have you been able to formulate your feelings in something other than exclamations, Phoenix?
Yeah, so it is unfortunate that the GG did happen right as the shades were canceled. And from Scarlett's position, because we obviously kind of talked about this just before this, we came back from commercial, but essentially from what I could tell, Scarlett saw the Adept shade up the ramp and knew that if they stopped their shade right there and actually, went through with it, that she wouldn't have anything in her base to actually defend that. Now, from Neeb's perspective, he didn't know it was in the main. So he had no reason to finish that shade because he thought maybe he'd lose his entire army to roaches or hydras or whatever could be in that base. And so the moment that he canceled it is the moment she quit. Yep. And that's super unfortunate for Scarlett, and it is super fortunate for Neeb because he was behind in that game. And that was more so of a scout that he was going for rather than an all-in. He might have all-in right after, but canceling the shade right then was just incredible.
Now, she did only have Zerglings to deal with Adepts, which isn't great, but she had a lot of Zerglings. And one of the things that we should mention, again, patch notes, is that Adepts don't see as much as they used to. So when you used to, go up the ramp, you could see what was there waiting for you. But in this case, Neeb didn't. Neeb had no clue.
Yeah, he had much less vision than he would normally have. And at this point, I think Scarlett wasn't aware of that, or she might have tried to position a little bit better, maybe a little more aggressively when she saw the shade coming up. But at that point, it's unfortunate that happened. But at the same time, it makes for an exciting match. And now if she does know that he canceled it out just before she GG'd out, then maybe she's going to have a little bit of a chip on her shoulder this game, Marsh, and we might be able to see some more interesting play from these two.
Yeah. Well, welcome everybody to Whirlwind, the ladder edition. Again, it's a little bit of an older map, and these spawning positions are relevant to this game, as crossplay dictates different things than horizontal play, dictates different things than vertical play. Right now, we'll go to the man who is up one game. Can he close it out? It is the one, the only, the Neeb.
And
I like that better than the adult.
And in the bottom right corner, we have Our pink Zerg player, the female of this series, the one down by 1 game who has come back in 2 out of these 5 games so far to make this a very close series and a very interesting series as well. It is Scarlet.
The winningest woman in esports.
Correct, in all of esports.
In StarCraft, in esports, in the Guinness World Record book thingy. I don't know. Last time I checked is $156,000. And if you thought the gender balance in your country was shit, and in my case it's 23%, don't go into esports, because I'm pretty sure there's a couple of people who won Dota majors who are upwards of a million in earnings. And yeah, that's dwarfs that 25%. But for now, can I just say that all the way at start, we showed some star sense. It said 50-50. I think that's pretty spot on.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. I don't see any reason why that would be any different at this point. These games have been so close that, I mean, 50-50 seems fair. Obviously, Neeb's up by 1 game, and Scarlet did unfortunately leave a little bit early in that past one. But at the same time, there's no reason to think that this couldn't get spun around and Scarlet wins the next 2.
Exactly. We've got Neeb sticking to that adept play, by the way. He was forced into it last game due to his early disadvantage, but this time it's more of a conscious decision, and he's probably going to let these 2 finish into a 1 queen and a bunch of zerglings, but he should be able to get a little bit of damage in there at least. Yep.
Absolutely. It looks like he's going to try to get these adepts to safety here. Gets them right out of the base, did get a full scout off, and I don't believe he's going to pick off any, the queen's going to pick off any adepts. But we do have 2 more here, as well as 2 more adepts on the way, and resonating glaives on the way already. So it looks like Neeb's going for a very strong adept push early on here against Scarlet while she takes her 3rd base.
Yeah, we've got that proxy gateway coming on in there on that possible 3rd base position. It isn't what Scarlet took, but yeah, this is what I mean with your play is kind of dictated by your starting position. This just hits a little bit faster than it would cross position. It hits a little bit faster than if you're doing vertical positions. In vertical position, for instance, Scarlet might have chosen, a different base to go in as well.
Well, absolutely. You don't want to expand towards your opponent in this scenario. So she knows where Neeb spawned at, and she cannot expand leftwards. She has to expand upwards.
All right, so Scarlet's building some spine crawlers to deal with this. But is she? Yes, she actually does have a spore crawler, because that is a dark shrine. But for now, there's the first bit of damage being done here. Those adepts shaded on in the middle of a whole bunch and a whole bunch of servants. So, drones being taken out so far. That was a nice attack. That did a lot of damage. 36 dead Zerglings right there. But this is a blunted attack.
And we do have an attack at the 3rd base here, Marsh, as well.
Yep, but there's no workers there, so yeah, they can sort of wail away at that actual hatchery, but that's not the strong suit of Adept. Let's see what he's going to do, because he did, of course, scout that spore crawler right at the front there, so he knows he can't go in there, DTs. And here comes that little yo-yo game. Are you going to commit? Are you going to commit? Are you
and I think Scarlett's trying to be as economically smart as possible here and not overcommit with the spine crawlers, but at this point I think she might need to put 1 more somewhere else in this base if these adepts keep committing to this attack.
And Neeb is trying to sneak those DPs by, and he does actually get 1 out of range of that vision. Oh, no. Oh, yep. Oh,
there's no lair.
Yep, there's no lair. There's no spore crawler in that base. Scarlet does hold position that in place and make sure that those that the DT can't get on in there, and she relocates around that spore crawler. Yep, you want to keep that alive. Don't let it swipe at that. All right, and that should be 1 dead DT. All right, cool. Right,
okay,
Scarlet may breathe a little bit easier. That is 1 attack held. That is 2 attack holds, and there's still a bunch of adepts on her front door, but she's on 3 bases. 23 workers to 23. Oh, and confident enough to build another 7 drones.
Absolutely. She's actually got 9 on the way now. And keep in mind, Neeb is not building any more probes. He is, 1 base. He's done. This is what he's going for. And once Scarlet scouted out that there was no natural, the first time, she immediately started spore crawler production, which is high level intelligence right there. You know that it's going to be be some sort of harassment, whether it's going to be mothership core coming across the map trying to harass with the units, whether it's going to be DTs, anything like that. You know you're going to need a spore crawler, or you might. So you might as well just build one and be safe, which is why she only had the one. She didn't have it in the main. She thought it was enough, and at this point it was not.
All right, here we go. Once again, a lot of adepts shading on in there, but no, doesn't cancel that. Oh, and that is, where does Akarosapal go? Oh, that is not where you want to be. That is optimum surface area for those Zerglings. They are going to get cleaned up, but it is the roaches that are really killing those adepts. Oh, and he cancelled the shade out. Could have gotten those out there. Don't worry, but instead,
GG.
Darren. GG.
And there it is.
Men with big beards sometimes say in deep, gravelly voices.
Well, there's game 3, boys and girls, and that was actually more exciting than I thought we were going to get that early on, because Scarlet's been the early aggressor in most of these games. Now that Neeb tried to do it, it actually backfired for him, and now we're 3-3. 3-3 in the series. So we're at game 7. This is match point, guys. This is exactly what we wanted. We wanted to see the maximum amount of games and the just spectrum of different styles of games. We've seen Scarlet try to do a macro game. We've seen her do an all-in. We've seen Neeb try to do macro games, and now we've seen him all-in. So we've got one game left, and this is for everything. This is to have the lead in the overall series between the two players. It's 6-6 right now. It's going to be 7-6 after this next game. And at this point, it looks like because they both have 3 wins, overall they're 26-28 in actual professional games played. So whoever wins this next game, if it's Scarlet, she's going to be 27-28 against Neeb. And if Neeb wins, he's going to be 29-26. So it's such a close series, and they're overall so close in everything they do that this is actually, for everything, this is going to be amazing, and I'm very excited for this game.
I'm let into America. Cover before me. Finally. All right, before we get into this last match, by the way, we have somebody pulling the raffle thingamabob right now, and we will actually... Oh, we're asking to see if a coin flip for the last server. I suppose that's fair.
That's probably fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
If Neeb agrees for it, then why not?
Let's see. Like... I did not consider this. I did, due to her previous shenanigans, consider what if she's going to, play as Protoss or Terran or whatever. Did not consider this. Let's ask Neeb.
Yeah, let's just make sure Neeb's okay with it before we fully commit to something that
exactly.
affects the hype that I just put behind the last game.
All right, so here we come back. We have €2 coin or eagle. So heads or tails. Oh man, 3-3. Holy shit, this is excellent.
Yeah. No, this is going to be absolutely incredible. We just got to make sure that Neeb is okay with it. It looks like he might not be looking at the chat right now, so hopefully we can kind of flag him down and make sure that he's good with it. But if not, that's totally fine. I mean, it's his prerogative. He could say, I'd rather just play on the Americas. We've had 6 games so far, and they've been 3-3. But it's my turn to play on my server, so I want to win, and this is mine. Yep. So he could say that, or he could be, the opposite and go, yeah, that's fine. Oh,
all right.
There you
Neeb's got no problem. Neeb had the last pick, so we're gonna ask if Scarlet. Neeb got the last call. So yeah, once again we're doing a raffle right now on Matcherino whatever. It's being linked. I don't have to work one. We should have played the last one on East. Ooh,
no, we should have played
Scarlet does not agree with that. So yeah, go to our Matcherino. There's a raffle thing on the right hand side. You got points for watching this. You got more points if you donated, which I totally forgot to tell. And right now is probably a little bit late to do so. But for next time, donate a little bit. You get extra points for the raffle. You can buy more tickets and get your coaching by Dead Zerg. That is Dead Zerg. That's not one of these 2 players. Just to be clear. So, all right, we got 2 players discussing how much ping we've got. I don't know if they're joking. They're good friends, so I'm assuming they are.
They're probably joking. I think Scarlett's trying to make a point that her ping to NA on the East is going to be worse than his ping to KR is.
That's I don't know. Isn't that sort of the same distance?
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Playing on West is the point. So
yeah. When I was in Korea, I played on Korea, which is a fucking hell. Let me tell you, if you're learning this game, for heaven's sake, don't do it in Korea.
Absolutely.
You will get murdered. You got your average bronze leaguer in Korea is. I'm not talking Nesty levels here, but they're a lot better than your bronze level.
Bronze would feel like, gold or platinum at this point, and if you are actually a true bronze or silver, you're just gonna have a terrible time. It feels like gold or plat. They're not actually, the equivalent, but at the same time, it's just what it feels like. Did we get a heads or tails call on this one?
We did not. Oh, I'm not allowed to whisper Scarlet because I'm not in it. So let's see. Heads or tails? Heads or tails? Or Euro sign versus Eagle? Because I'm in Europe. What can I say? We have Eagles. And some of you watching from the Americas might think you have some sort of, I don't know, rights to the Eagle. I don't know. You have
Oh, like we're the only country with Eagles on our money?
Yeah, no.
No, we're just it's the best one.
All right. Scarlet says heads.
Didn't have an argument back. It's fine.
All right, cool. What did I say? Head was the Euro sign, and tails was the thingy sign. So that is tails.
It's tails, yeah.
So tails it is. Neeb's server choice. All right, not some good.
All right.
I suppose we could choose Australia.
No, it has to be NA or KO. We're not playing on Australia, where both people just have terrible ping and the game's horrid.
Well, that should be good. No, he goes for the American one, which is very surprising, to be honest. I do see the point in that, by the way. The raffle is being done. We're checking to see just exactly which map is left. That should be Overgrowth. Yes, I got confirmation that is Overgrowth. This is also an oldie bit of goodie. But I feel fairly confident that Neeb is not going to play that Soul Train style that was so devastating to Zerg on this map. That endless game about that around that third base. So that should be interesting. We'll see if he goes back to depths, which have been okay for him. Worked the first time, but that was purely a matter of luck. And the second time, not so good.
Well, it wasn't luck, it was mind games. He waited till the very last second, and he was like, nope, cancel. And yeah, it was totally intentional. He knew it was going to happen. It's mind games.
Absolutely intentional. We're just going to, we're setting the lobby up right now. I'm waiting for the results. Which one of you lovely viewers out there in Viewerland gets to train with Dead Zerg? I have, who is that? That person is not supposed to be here. I have no clue who's winning or who's even participating. I know I had the second highest amount of points on this channel, but I only put in for 4 tickets. So I hope you guys put in for more, and you should be able to. Thank you. Can I not do that?
And just to clarify, guys, much like a casino, if you work for the company, you can't win. So, although Marsh is winning, unfortunately, he can't win. So that's okay.
It's very much. It's very much.
We do want to have somebody in first place, though. Right now, he's in second. So whoever is in first is the winner. So we need to make sure that you're going to have to beat Marsh if you want to win. So
well,
his numbers
that's just
still
on
is
the
that one.
amount of points I have to spend on raffle tickets. So that's the highest. I think the highest. You can see it on the leaderboard. I don't know. It was either Traffic or Shaft. So those are other members of the company. But last time we gave away something physical, and it was even worse because not only could I not win anything, they didn't ship it to Europe. So if I did get somehow in there on like my alternative count and convince people to send it, I would have not gotten it anyway. So yeah, that's kind of sad. All right, we're waiting for the things. Once again, I would like to shout out a couple of the high rollers. We have how do you Mde Popescu? How do you pronounce your name? That way. Thank you. Extornzvti. Thank you. Papa Mitch, thank you. Cream Filling, thank you. Bradford Oddfellow, thank you. Marsh, you are a fucking legend. Thank you. And everyone else that has donated for this, even if it's only to put in the Matcherino code, which is power overwhelming. If there is any capitalization going on in there, somebody in chat will let you know. One last shout out to Dan Matcherino. If you'd like to have this mouse, go there. If you'd like to have this headset, well, you can't have it, it's mine, but there's a newer version you can buy on there. You get a Gracie deal and we get part of the money. No, sorry, we don't get part of the money. The players get part of the money. Or the Matcherino gets part of that. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, no, it's something like that, but unfortunately you and I just sit here and, on camera, we don't actually get any of the money, but that's okay. I'm having fun.
All right, so for the raffle, and please make yourself known, which you were able to do once you signed up for a couple of things, but if you would like that coaching session, then Floresc
Sound it out.
Floresc with a C. Floresc, congratulations. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people in here with way too many consonants following one another. That makes it kind of hard to do this job. Thank you, congratulations, and Disrespect will be contacting you shortly. I assume it's Disrespect. We have 3 chat mods out there. Shout out to Disrespect, to Philippe, and to Traffic. Wait, did I get that right?
I believe you did.
Excellent. I am so good at this job. Somebody should pay me to do this professionally. All right. It is 3-3 in maps between these two players, these two most extraordinary players. We have 1 map to go in order to try and sound it all out. And the winner of this will come away with a certain amount of money, which I haven't checked on the Matcherino because you guys should be going to Matcherino and I should not because I'm busy casting this game. For now, let's get into Overgrowth. All right. Welcome to Overgrowth. I like this map. I've always liked this map, and I was going to say we have something weird going on by Scarlett, but that really isn't the case. She sends out her Zergling or her drone at a correct time, and Neeb was also very timely in blocking that. So let's introduce that lady on the bottom left, the Queen of Blades. She has been called by some Canada's finest by others, and the maple syrup queen. I did not make that one up. It's Scarlet.
Maple syrup queen. All right. I can live with that. That sounds like a good one. All right. And then on the top right of Overgrowth, we have our blue Protoss player, and he is looking for the match point in this best of 7 series. He is currently tied 3-3 with Scarlet. It is Neeb.
Alright, so 1 match to take it all, and I have just checked, by the way, we set a goal of getting some $200 for these 2 players, and we are in fact at 140. So if you have any of your friends who haven't dedicated to this yet, send them on down to the Matcherino, type in power overwhelming. We only need 50 people to do that. It's not going to cost you a damn thing, and these 2 players will get their just desserts in a nice way. In a nice way.
And I want to point out, actually, Scarlet was battling with this probe for a very long time at her natural. And she actually she outmicroed it and got the hatchery down without actually having to killing the probe or anything like that. So very interesting that that was able to happen. She did manage to take the third base as her natural during that time frame as well, so she's not too far behind. And we can see that she does have the correct amount of drones on the main base, and she has ferried over, looks like 4 drones over to that third that she took as her natural. So we don't have any economic damage that's too serious or too severe from that probe being in the way of the natural base. And she did, in fact, get a scout off with this overlord that's now on the other side of the map, getting harassed by the stalker, but it should be able to escape up to the high ground here. Though she she does see everything that she needed to see. She saw the probe count and everything. So at this point, I think Scarlett's very aware of what's happening. She sees the base. She doesn't have to worry about that early DT adept all in like last game. And
there's the Twilight Council again.
Exactly. We do have the Twilight Council, and that is actually hidden this time. So Neeb, this whole series has actually not been hiding any of his tech, but at this point, he has hid it. Like looks like he's got the robo as well. So I'd say because of the Stalker opening, we're going to see something a little bit more mid-game oriented. And I don't, I want to say I'd like Neeb to end up taking a third base here, but because he is, well, maybe safe enough. He's got about 400. But there's just a probe sitting at the front of his base, waiting, trying to prevent any leaks from getting in. All right, so it looks like he's not actually taking that third quite yet. If he is going to do it, he's going to saturate that down first. We have Scarlet pushing out with a bunch of Zerglings, and there it is. The Dark Shrine's coming back, Marsh.
All right. Well, we've got Neeb putting down that gateway in front of that weak pylon right there. So no weak little structures with 100, 100, I mean 200, 200 actually. Hit points to nibble down for the Zerglings, and she is going to have to fight her way through warp gates, and she decides, you know what?
Correct. And if we look at the production tab here, Marsh, there is a warp prism on the way to complement these DTs that come out. All right, getting ready to, the Dark Shrine's about to finish. It's about halfway done. So if this Warp Prism comes out, he might actually be able to get some DT drops off as well, which are incredibly frustrating to deal with as a Zerg player, especially with the Warp Prism being able to grab the DTs from so far away that it's very difficult to actually get a handle on those.
Now, Scarlet did get 2 Spore Crawlers in the... scouts that Warp Prism with that Zergling, so she should be aware that there's something coming her way. So she does have a detection there, building a third right now for that third mineral line. So if she gets some units, she should be able to hold this off fairly well. Also, she's got that layer, so if she wants to get in some portable ones, just in case 4 DTs to get into her third.
Warp in here, Marsh.
Yeah, get that down, because this can focus down that detection right now, so choose it, but no, get stuck on the units, is going to do a fair bit of damage, and with the Warp Prism micro right there, doesn't lose a single DT, takes out 8 drones right there. That was very nicely targeted, by the way. That was 6 Zerglings to 8 drones, so that was very nicely done, and now we go for that double Archon drop harass, which has been popular in the at least in the previous patch.
Absolutely, yeah. This 2 Archon harass is very strong. Like I said before, it's when you can pick them up from so far away that they can't really get surrounded. They have such a good AOE burst on their attacks that it's very difficult to deal with. You need a very high damage group of units to take them out.
And in this case, a whole bunch of queens able to slowly pick away at that.
This massive counterattack, though, Marsh.
Yep. That should get into that third. Now there is an overcharge, which would buy Neeb a little bit of time. In the meantime, he's going into the main. And what is Scarlet going to donate a couple of those Zerglings right there? And there are those Archons in that. Quite content with just taking down a queen.
Absolutely, and I think the trick with this is she needs to pick off the Warp Prism, because there's no way she's ever going to kill these Archons with that Warp Prism just ferrying them about. The issue with that is that she didn't have creep connect between her main and her natural, so those queens were a little slow. That Warp Prism got so low that if those queens were there a few seconds earlier, I think she would have been able to pick it off, and those Archons were even still inside of it, so I don't know that we're going to see Scarlet take any more chances with that, and she might actually be looking to yeah, she's actually getting the Hydralisks on the way already, and at this point she's getting the upgrades as well for their ranged attacks, so this is going to help the queens as well as the Hydras and the Roaches.
No, just a couple of pokes on the part by Neeb and picks that on up once again. And Scarlet is taking your advice, or probably just her good sense in connecting.
It's probably the other way around, but yeah.
Yeah, she might know
do it
better.
at some point.
That's true. That's true. All right, Scarlet going out for 4th, and it looks like we've got a good macro map on our hands for our closing match. 3-3, one game to go, and no really weird shenanigans, or at least there was a DT play, of course. But
well, there's DTs, and then there's the Archon harass with the War Prison, but we do have Immortals, Adepts, Archons on the way with a few Stalkers and some Sentries. This is going to be the fight right here. I don't think Scarlet can hold this. I don't think that she has enough units.
Scarlet has a
okay, so we've got a few Hydras coming in here as well, Marsh, so this might be the difference.
And I think if she can get some really nice corrosive fouls, but this is nice, pulling that army away with the shades and then getting position. Hasn't used those force fields yet, but here they're going to be, and this is exactly what I warned about when this started. And let's the adept shade on in there, getting right on top of the army of Scarlet. Now it was nice transfuses, keeping her queens alive. But she's been focusing, trying to get those adepts done, and that means those immortals are fully unharmed with 3 immortals. GG!
There it is. We have our winner, Marsh.
That was a nice push right there. That was a nice push, cleanly executed.
That was very well done by Neeb, and it caught Scarlet completely off guard. And I think the point in that fight where it completely turned was he wasn't going to be able to push in just with that army in the way, Scarlet's army, but the Adept Shade behind. Scarlet knew that if she committed, he was going to not commit, and if she stayed there and prevented his army from touching the 3rd, he was going to commit and just pincer her in with all those Adepts. So at that point, it was a no-win situation for Scarlet, engaging that army head-on. But unfortunately, because of that map, I've talked about it before, that choke point right there at the 3rd base is so hard for a Zerg to deal with because it's so small and you can have such a large army come up from right behind there. The choke point is big enough to have an army just kind of line up right there, and you can't surround them, but it's also small enough to the point where they feel safe and you can't really turn around and get behind them. So unfortunately for Scarlet, it did end up not going in her favor, but at the same time, it was a valiant effort of a hold, and she tried her best. It was an incredible series, and congratulations to Neeb for a very impressive win.
Yeah, no, very nicely done. Very valiantly played by both players. Can't help but wonder if that server choice in the last one is that tiny little bit that you need in order for that for Scarlet to hold that a little bit better. That is a little bit the nature of the game. Next time these two meet, I'm sure it will be once again face to face, or at least one shutter in between them and keyboards clicking away within audible distance.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Neeb, congratulations! You're going to get X amount of that money that is in the Matcherino description. Scarlet, you're going to get less X amount of that money, and I'm not doing math on stream because I know enough not to do that. I would like to thank everyone that was involved in this production. That is, of course, you've seen Phoenix right next to me. Coulter, you you've been watching him the entire time. He's been observing, so thank you very much for Coulter. Everyone at Polygon Gaming, before we sign off, I suppose we should redirect you to our Twitter page, which is Polygon SC2, for whatever we decide to do next. This is our 5th one, so obviously we do these on occasion. We've also done a Clash of the Clanless, which was a bit of a bigger tournament. But Phoenix, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at RealPhoenixSD. You can also find me on Twitch at PhoenixSD, so twitch.tv/PhoenixSD. And you can do that. I stream all the time, do all that fun stuff. And Marsh, what about you? Where can they find you at?
Well, on Twitter, I'm at Marsh, MAARSCH. I believe my name is here-ish. You should be able to figure that out. On YouTube, I'm Marsh Gaming. On Twitch, I am Marsh as well. We've got Coulter, who is Coulter TV on Twitch and Twitter. And, with that, I would like to say thank you very much for watching. If you have any feedback, then please let us know. You now have our Twitter handles. You can contact us for all the praise that usually is associated with internet traffic. None of that weird, other stuff. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope very much to see you next time. Send some extra love towards Neeb and Scarlett for putting on this great game. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you, guys.
You're a memory now. You're all faded and brown. You're just namelessly hung on the tip of my tongue in a silent remark. You're a memory now. You're just dust on the ground. Just a whisper of steam.